You know, I tend to talk about Naruto's loneliness and a lack of true family in his early years. While blood doesn't truly make a family, and we see this in action when he's assigned to Team 7, it remains true that he didn't have a blood family or adopted family when he needed it. Hiruzen was there, but I mean, Hiruzen really just did the bare minimum. I know he was Hokage and all, but seriously, bare minimum. Naruto lacked that one thing that every child needs growing up. It's as vital to their life as the food they eat and the water they drink. Love. And because he lacked that, he began to crave it. This manifested in many ways, such as mischief in an attempt to get some form of attention even if it was negative. It also manifested in a fierce loyalty. Naruto had few friends, and because he had few friends, those that he cherished more than his own life and would do anything to hold on to them. His bond with Sasuke symbolizes that. Naruto is a good person, I'm just gonna say it. He is a genuinely good person, and the sad truth is, he became good because no one around ever showed him love. He was the only one to ever truly understand the value of love because he was one of those who had to live without it. Sakura, in a way, is a direct opposite to Naruto, being that she has a family. They're overbearing, embarrassing, and annoying, and there have been times when Sakura has stated that Naruto and Sasuke are lucky. The movie Road to Ninja goes off this a little further by allowing Naruto and Sakura to switch circumstances. While Sakura initially feels free, she slowly begins to realize that this freedom is a solitary one. She really begins to understand Naruto on a deeper level by walking a mile in his shoes, which I thought was a nice touch for the movie. And it further grows sadder when Naruto realizes that though he doesn't want to leave the Limited Tsukuyomi, he still finishes the job, sacrificing a world where he could have been happy. But isn't that just the story of his life? Sacrifice everything for someone else. He bears so much responsibility at every point in his life, which makes for a legendary story for an equally legendary Hokage. Due to the fact that I always seem to focus on Naruto's loneliness, I felt that a nice change of pace is in order. Instead of focusing on what he didn't have, let's take a look back at the family that he does have. This will be slightly loose, as I'll add in distant cousins and adopted family members as well. It'll be messy, but the real point of this is to observe all of Naruto's family. So turn that frown upside down and let's observe those who always loved Naruto instead of worrying about those who didn't. Welcome to the Amagi. Before we begin, we publish a new video every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. The Amagi's reach stretches beyond just this channel, so if you're a fan, please consider subscribing to our other channels and following us on all of our social media. Help us reach our goal of passing 100,000 followers on all of our accounts by the end of the year. Let's work from the top down, as technically Naruto isn't the last in the line currently. We need to work from the branches back to the roots, so we'll start from the youngest and move backwards. Himowari, the definition of adorable. Seriously, look up the word small bean in the dictionary and her face will be on display. She favors her mother more than anything and is the latest in the line of the Hyuga. If I remember correctly, wouldn't she be of the main branch and one of the heirs? Or does that not count anymore since her mother took the Uzumaki name? Himowari is your average girl who enjoys what you might expect. She loves dolls, drawing, and is a real daddy's girl, being incredibly hurt when he misses her birthday. Speaking of hurt, she is adept with the gentle fist technique. Right out the gate, she knows where to strike and even has an air about her that will put fear into the heart of adults the moment she snaps. The day of Naruto's, I guess you could call it coronation, Himowari and Boruto get into an argument. This little fight results in the destruction of one of her favorite toys. The pain of that loss awakens her Byakugan for the first time. I'm certain Boruto immediately knew he screwed up the moment he saw that. She had Boruto on the run, and even at one point Naruto rushed back into the house because he felt literal killing intent. You know that thing that Orochimaru used to cause Sasuke to freeze in the Forest of Death? Himowari was displaying that. She wasn't just gonna kill Boruto like most use an exaggeration, she was going to literally end his life. She probably would have if Naruto hadn't stepped in the way. This is further proof of her natural fighting ability. Without any prior training, she awakens her Byakugan and immediately knows when and where to strike. Through use of the gentle fist technique, she actually puts Naruto out, which threatens the inauguration. Of course, she felt bad about it, and eventually Boruto repairs the toy, whether out of genuine remorse or utter terror, I do not know, and brings peace back to the household. Her prodigious nature seems to be inherited from her second cousin once removed, Neji. Despite having never been taught, he also managed to learn the gentle fist technique by merely watching those of the main branch practice it. Boruto Uzumaki, the son of Naruto, whom he shares the greatest resemblance, bearing the trademark yellow hair and blue eyes, even down to the whiskers, though Boruto possesses one set less. Boruto was never able to awaken his own Byakugan, but this changes when he gains Otsutsuki DNA. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if he could manifest a Rinne Sharingan just because. Boruto's gene pool seems to come straight from the Namikaze family line. Well, so it was before his Otsutsukification. While he may look like his father, Boruto couldn't be any different. Unlike Naruto, Boruto is a brat. He shares his father's short temper, but he also seems to display a bit more control over his emotions and tends to act older than he really is. He shares his father's ditziness, although this seems less for comedy relief and more just staying in character. Unlike his father, Boruto started out taking his family for granted, even going so far as calling Naruto lucky that Minato died when he was born, so Naruto wouldn't have to deal with having a Hokage for a father. Yeah, he went there. But he slowly grows to understand Naruto a bit more, loving him as he should, respecting him, and further learning that the easy way out is not always the best way out, growing in both character and morals, becoming better rounded in general to the point where he would even die to save his family and friends. Also, his name is Boruto, which comes from the word bolt, and he has a screw around his neck as a necklace. Given that his cousin Neji's name translates to the word screw, I find it a nice nod and helps us remember that Boruto is still equally a Hyuga as much as an Uzumaki. Kawaki. Kawaki's not technically part of Naruto's family. Well, I mean that to say his bloodline. There's an old saying that blood is thicker than water, but I go a bit farther to say that family is thicker than the blood, and that case is especially true for Kawaki. Kawaki was a boy who was taken in by Kara in hopes of forming a perfect vessel with which to transfer the spirit of Ishiki Otsutsuki. Ishiki had been betrayed by Kaguya and was near death when he had to plant his karma seal. He had a bout of good luck and bad luck at the same time. He was unlucky because he was betrayed and nearly killed, lucky because a person happened by, and then unlucky again when that one person was not compatible with him. However, his grandest bit of luck was that, despite this person failing to be compatible with him, he could still house his consciousness. This led to Ishiki beginning to search for a vessel that could support him. The experiments were even more dangerous because an Otsutsuki was not supposed to be able to have two karma seals active at once, and currently Jigen was housing one. But by some miracle, Kawaki survived and ended up living in the Uzumaki family residence. Kawaki was enamored by Naruto's kindness and generally attractive personality. Naruto not only protected the boy, but brought him into his home and made him an official part of their family. Boruto even further names Kawaki a bro, not only in the slang sense, but in a familial sense. Kawaki is now growing to experience the bond that he has been missing. His love for the Uzumaki family, Naruto in particular, is so great that he would sacrifice everything for them. A deep bond worth noting in this family tree. Hinata. Hinata Hyuga was the daughter of Hiyashi Hyuga and was next in line to become the head of the Hyuga clan. She was timid but a very hard worker. She was quiet and shy, and her love for Naruto existed from a very young age, with Naruto only admitting that he had always subconsciously thought of her, or maybe that was a hypnosis scene. I couldn't really understand the strangeness of the scene retelling the same moment in his past over and over again and slowly changing, so for all I know, Naruto is under a long genjutsu. There's a theory for you. Despite all of this, she was a hard worker. While not being innately skilled in the use of gentle fist, her pure determination, even in the face of adversity, even in the form of abuse from her at the time embittered cousin Neji during their training sessions, which would sometimes leave her bedridden. She slowly became one of Naruto's strongest friends, which made her a perfect fit for Might Guy's team, as he wanted his students to know that sometimes pure hard work trumps natural affinity. As a child, she was somewhat of a tomboy in the clothing she wore. Despite this, she maintained her effeminate side as well, and by the time she reached her teens, closing in on adulthood, she had blossomed into a very beautiful young woman of which many other girls were jealous. Even in the face of this praise, she remained humble at all times, constantly subverting the attention from herself to those she felt were more worthy. She has long since become more confident in herself and assertive, especially since becoming a mother. I think her late cousin Neji would be quite proud of her. Then there's Naruto himself, the protag of the first two series and the bearer of the Nine Tails up to a specific time. Born on October 10th, he survived hardships and trials right out of the gate. From being orphaned to a public menace, he had no shortage of issues, and all of them he wondered why they had to be that way. He slowly grew to become a strong shinobi respected the world over, making many friends along the way, many of them at one time being an enemy, given that he was the only one who could truly understand. This is where his ability to use Talk no Jutsu comes from. I mean, the name is a joke, but the ability is indeed real. This is what set Naruto apart from other shinobi and led to him becoming a legend. Kushina Uzumaki. The red, hot-blooded habanero of the leaf, Kushina was brought up in Uzoshiogakure, also known as the village hidden by whirling tides. Kushina spent most of her time searching for daily peace as she was constantly caught up in war. She was sent to the Hidden Leaf at a young age where she declared her dream to be the first female Hokage. Tsunade beats her out, of course, but her dream was pure. Many of the kids, though, didn't care for her much and tended to make fun of her because of her red hair. Because of this, she hated her hair, but upon meeting Minato, he told her that her hair was what he loved about her most. My soul, how much more romantic can you get, Minato, you sly dog. The reason why she was sent to Konoha, though, was because she was to become the next Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails. Before her, the Nine Tails Jinchuriki was the wife of the late first Hokage, Hashirama Senju. Her name was Mito Uzumaki. Due to the powerful sealing jutsu that the Uzumaki were famed for, the role of being a Jinchuriki was passed to this clan, and Kushina was the one upon which this responsibility fell. The crushing weight and dread of this responsibility had a tendency to upset the girl, though Mito would comfort her and tell her that the only way to tame the Nine Tails and overcome its hatred was with love. This was something that Minato would help her with. She was known to be a woman with a vibrant personality and a short temper. She was strong in her own way and almost slightly reminds me of Sakura. She was the self-sacrificing type and cared deeply for her child in the short time she knew him, going so far as to basically leave a sentient recording of her through her chakra that she implants into the baby, warning it of the 3 prohibitions: to bathe and eat well and get plenty of rest. She laments that she couldn't spend more time with him, and laments further when she realizes that she used up Minato's time as well, though Minato didn't care. His response to Naruto was basically, same goes for me, double. Minato Namikaze. Naruto was part of what we assume to be the Namikaze clan. Pretty much nothing is known of this clan whatsoever, and everything is left to speculation. For all we know, this clan doesn't exist anymore. Man, that would be such an awesome thing to dig into a spin-off manga. Minato, Yellow Flash Chronicles. All we know about said clan is what we learned from Minato, Naruto, and Boruto. They were likely a clan with predominantly blonde hair, blue eyes, and possibly even whisker-like coloration on their cheeks. They probably also had high potential and were full of imagination. Minato is shown to have a massive imagination given the intricate names he always gave his techniques. His greatest skill was his speed. Despite this attribute, it's almost sad to remember that some of his greatest blunders in his life all occurred because he reached a place too late. He was unable to save Obito because he wasn't there fast enough to save him. He managed to save Kakashi and Rin, but it was too late to save Obito, which would have consequences later on. Then when Kushina was taken and had her tailed beast extracted from her, he was too slow to beat Tobi, and too slow to stop Kurama to the point that Kushina would definitely die. But I don't want to focus on what he failed to do, because what he succeeded in was far greater and far more numerous. He was the inventor of the Rasengan technique, which was later ranked S among other techniques. He also managed to master the Flying Thunder God technique, which was one of Tobirama Senju's greatest. Ironically, another technique Tobirama invented was the multi-shadow clone jutsu, which Minato's son would later main to a masterful degree. Minato was shown to be laid back, emotionally in control, and quite romantic. He was playful, but also ditzy to a point, but his skills were second to none, making him a Hokage viewed near par with the legendary founders of the village. Jiraiya. The pervy toad sage is also a part of Naruto's family. As said earlier, he isn't a part of Naruto's bloodline, but family is thicker than blood. And for Naruto, his bond and relationship with Jiraiya was one that he deeply treasured and cherished. Having grown up without the guidance of any adult who he knew, his time spent with Jiraiya was a dream come true. Having been named the godfather of Naruto, Jiraiya was the one who was supposed to take care of him, and a part of me holds that against Jiraiya, who wasn't there when Naruto needed him most. But I'm sure the best excuse would be that he was a shinobi, and life as a shinobi was dangerous. But then again, if he had time to write a best-selling Lemon-style novel series, then he probably had enough time to dote on a toddler, but maybe I'm just built different. He was responsible for setting Naruto on the path that would lead to his eventual rise to Hokagehood, and was responsible both directly and indirectly for Naruto learning both the Rasengan and Sage Mode. With both of these techniques, Naruto holds within him the memory of his father and godfather. both of whom were ones who loved him more than anything. Irika Umino. I'm not gonna forget about Irika-sensei. I'm not planning to name every person Naruto has ever befriended as a member of his family tree, but Irika is a very special exception, along with perhaps Konohamaru, who himself oftentimes calls Naruto Big Brother. Irika was one of the first people to accept Naruto, and this proves that Irika possesses a heart of gold, because like many others, Irika lost someone special in the Nine-Tails attack. In fact, he lost two, both of his parents. Irika came to hate the Nine-Tails because of this, but he still managed to love Naruto. He even throws himself between Naruto and Mizuki, taking a shot from a Fuma Shuriken just to ensure the boy's survival. Since then, Irika has been that foundation with which Naruto built up his own little family. Irika was his first friend, and furthermore, ended up the boy's best man at his wedding. The bond Naruto shares with Irika is special, and I wouldn't dare end this video without mentioning it. The word clan possesses multiple definitions. Among these are definitions for a large family, as well as close-knit and interrelated families. This means that everyone in the Uzumaki clan is in some way related to Naruto, even if it is distantly. This means he has quite a few distant cousins that he has met, even if he didn't truly realize how close they were. Among the ones he's met is Karine, who at one time was a member of Sasuke's Team Taka, and another was Nagato Uzumaki, who had been one of the founders of and the leader of the Akatsuki. So here are a few more who are blood related to Naruto. Karine. Karine was a shinobi of the Hidden Grass Village. Around the time that Kushina left for Konohagakure, her home village of Uzoshiogakure was eradicated in a war that spread the remaining Uzumaki clan thin across the world. Karine was one that ended up in the Hidden Grass, but she was still an outsider. It was then that she was found by Orochimaru, who thought that outcasts should stick together. She joined him and worked faithfully with him for a time. It wasn't long though until Orochimaru was killed by Sasuke, who then proceeded to recruit her and others to her cause. During her time working with Orochimaru as well as Sasuke, she is shown to be highly intelligent, capable of aiding in tests and experiments. Beyond that, she is also a fantastic sensory ninja. She shows a sarcastic streak that further displays her intelligence, as she's always ready with a witty remark. She also possesses the trademark red hair and incredible chakra reserves. She possessed the ability to heal others by allowing them to bite her and consume her chakra. This is shown to be painful, but more than this, her body is riddled with scars from it, insinuating that she has done it before. This marks her as an actually very selfless person, as she's willing to sacrifice her body to save others, and has done so on multiple occasions. She can seemingly sense people's personalities through their chakra, and is shown to be a hopeless romantic. Obsession over Sasuke at every turn. That being said, she never seems to be bitter at Sakura for beating her out with Sasuke, although I'm sure she is and just doesn't say anything. Nagato. Nagato Uzumaki, as well as his mother, who we see for a split second before she's killed in the Second Shinobi World War, are distant relatives of Naruto. Nagato, much like all other Uzumaki, is connected to Naruto on his mother's side. At a young age, he was shown to be a rather weak child, especially emotionally, and would often cry. He was shown to possess the Rinnegan, which Jiraiya noted might mean that he was the child of prophecy that the Toad Sages had told him about. Nagato hated war with a passion and worked hard to ensure it would never happen. He was always more of a lover than a fighter, but that changed with the death of Yahiko. Nagato's purity was tainted with bitterness, and he began to wage war in the hopes of retaking Amagakure from Hanzo of the Salamander, killing him and assuming position of supreme leader, all while he was manipulated by Tobi into reforming the Akatsuki under the sole goal of attaining all-tailed beasts, in order to create a super weapon that would bring about peace through deterrence. He, at one time, had intense love for Jiraiya, but over the years his hatred poisoned that well, and eventually brought Nagato to the point that he killed Jiraiya. Nagato still seemed to cherish what friendships he had left, and was fiercely loyal to Konan, who was just as loyal in return. In the end, his heart remained well-intentioned, as he eventually, through Naruto's help, repented for all of his actions in which he had killed many of the Leaf. He decided to entrust his dream of peace to Naruto, and then sacrificed his life to return all who he had killed. Mito Uzumaki. The wife of the first Hokage, she was a strong woman, dignified, and understood her duty. She took it upon herself to seal the Nine-Tails into her after Madara Uchiha used it to attack the village. This was to ensure that the tailed beast would not threaten the village again, but would also allow for the village to make use of the tailed beast when it needed it most. Beyond her dignity and duty, she was very loving and kind, giving her love to Hashirama Senju and further displaying it in a motherly way by comforting the frightened Kushina Uzumaki when it became known that she would be the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki to replace her when the former passed away. She bequeathed the wisdom to Kushina that would later be known and guide Naruto through his relationship with the Nine-Tails, that the tailed beast could only be tamed when its hatred was met with love. Ashina Uzumaki. Ashina was the leader of the Uzumaki clan during the time of Hashirama Senju and the village's founding. Uzushiogakure and Konohagakure were known to be good friends, with Konoha even going so far as to have the symbol of Uzushiogakure displayed on the back of their Chunin flak jackets. Some Konoha shinobi even wear that mark on their shoulders. It was a symbol of the great friendship that Konoha had with Uzushiogakure, and the tradition persisted even after the destruction of Uzushiogakure. Another thing that should be mentioned was that the Senju clan and the Uzumaki clan were actually themselves distantly related. This means that Naruto is, ironically, his own ancestor at least twice. Tsunade. Tsunade was the 5th Hokage as well as one of the 3 Sannin who fought during the First Shinobi World War. She is the granddaughter of the first Hokage, Hashirama Senju. She was doted on by the first Hokage when he was alive and ended up becoming a skilled healer during her time fighting in the Great Shinobi Wars. It was during this time that her lover, Dan, with whom she had gifted her grandfather's necklace, was killed, bleeding out in her arms. This caused her to develop a phobia of blood. She later gifted the necklace to her little brother, who declared he also would become Hokage. But not long after she gifted it to him, he was also killed. This almost made the necklace seem cursed. And once the world wars were over, she became reclusive, deciding to stay in a town far off from Konoha, where she, much like her grandfather, indulged in various vices, including drinking and gambling. It wasn't until she met Naruto that she felt the curse on her grandfather's necklace was broken, gifting it to him after he displayed that he could both create and use the Rasengan. She would go on to become Hokage and would lead them well until pain attacked the village. She would go into a coma and not awaken until the 4th Shinobi World War, and by this time Kakashi would have already been named as her replacement. She's very strong, very short-tempered, and very proud. She's shown to be slightly vain, as she refuses to show her true face to others unless it's absolutely necessary, or to shock them for fun. She can be laid back and is a bit of a party girl, enjoying drinking and getting hammered. She also loves to gamble, and it's noted that some of these vices she gets from Hashirama. All in all, she is a wise woman, a genius healer, and a great teacher. There was also Hashirama, Tobirama, Kawarama, Itama, and Patsuma Senju. This family itself existed during the time of the Warring States period. Kawarama was very young and a good shinobi, though his young life was cut short because of the war claiming him as a casualty. It was Kawarama's death that would affect Hashirama to conspire with Madara to find a way to end the war and start the village hidden in the leaves. Patsuma, the father of Kawarama and the rest of his children, was abrasive and very prideful in his clan and their abilities as shinobi, going so far as to strike Hashirama when Hashirama stated that children were dying pointless deaths. Patsuma believed the best thing a man could do for their children was to make sure they became incredible shinobi. That being said, the time in which he lived caused Patsuma to be rather ruthless and wasn't above killing the children of his antithesis, Tajima Uchiha, just to get to him. Itama Senju was another of Patsuma's children and was known to be soft-hearted. He was unable to hold back tears as he watched the funerals of other clansmen, including his brother Kawarama. Patsuma would scold Itama for crying, as it wasn't the shinobi way to show weakness, but this would cause an altercation between Hashirama and Patsuma. Hashirama would later tell Itama that peace was possible, but only if they could suppress feelings regarding the need for retribution. Sadly, Kawarama was also killed by the Uchiha. Hashirama would later go on to become the head of his clan and would lead them during the war alongside his brother and another, a kunoichi known as Toka Senju. He would, over many occasions, face off against Madara Uchiha, and on one such occasion would offer to commit suicide just to end the war. This managed to change Madara's way of thinking, and the two would go on to form the Hidden Leaf. It wasn't much longer until Madara would return to his old beliefs and attempt to destroy the village they had made. This led to Hashirama killing Madara and sealing the Nine-Tails into his wife. Hashirama would also subjugate the other tailed beasts and give them out to the other villages. He had great intent to bring peace, but this would go unfulfilled as he would later be killed in the First Shinobi World War, the exact opposite of what he had hoped for. Hashirama was shown to be upbeat and strong, self-sacrificing but also airheaded. He led with his heart instead of his brain and was not too unlike Naruto. However, he had a strong sense of duty and would always put others before him, going so far as to kill his best friend Madara just to save the village. He also seemingly had his vices, such as gambling, which he shared with his granddaughter Tsunade. Tobirama Senju. Tobirama was the second-born son of Patsuma Senju and fought alongside Hashirama. It was Tobirama who killed Izuna Uchiha, an action which Madara never fully forgave him for. Tobirama was against sparing Madara and was about to end it when Hashirama stopped him. When Hashirama was Hokage, it was Tobirama who was the brains that Hashirama lacked. Hashirama was a hopeless optimist, and Tobirama needed to be the realist that would balance Hashirama out and ensure that his well-intentioned ideas were executed properly. When Hashirama died, Tobirama replaced him as the second Hokage. His tenure didn't last long though, as he would also die in the war, naming Hiruzen as his replacement. During his life, Tobirama was an emotionally reserved man who rarely displayed any emotion besides some joy he would be unable to contain when on the battlefield or in the midst of his studies. Tobirama was a genius and created many overpowered techniques, some of which were a little morally ambiguous. He was the one who created the multi-shadow clone jutsu, the flying thunder god technique, and even the impure reincarnation jutsu. He was known to have taken the body of Madara to perform experiments in an effort to understand and replicate the Sharingan, putting his interests on the level of mad scientist, not too far removed from Orochimaru. However, he was compassionate, dutiful, and selfless to the point that he sacrificed himself as the Hokage to ensure that his squad escaped the clutches of the Kinkaku force. Asura Otsutsuki. Naruto, through Senju Uzumaki relations, would be kin to Asura Otsutsuki, the second son of Hagoromo Otsutsuki. Given that Asura is brother of Indra, this means that there is a blood relation between Naruto and Sasuke's family line due to a common ancestor, though I'm going to leave that out. Asura was a man who was wise and kind. He believed that love was the path to peace and fought against his brother Indra when the latter began to wage war with him over his father picking Asura to be the successor of Ninshu, which Indra vowed to destroy. Moving back a generation, Naruto would also be directly descended from Hagoromo Otsutsuki, the first human Otsutsuki hybrid, as well as his brother Hamura. This gives some blood relation between Naruto and both Toneri Otsutsuki, as well as the Moon Tribe, and the Hyuga, though I will omit this for the same reason as the omission of the Uchiha and Indra. Hagoromo was a man who wasn't too dissimilar from Naruto either, and believed in connecting with people and with nature. Hagoromo learned Sage Mode from the Toads, who used Sage Energy prior to the introduction of Chakra, and ended up becoming the first user of Six Paths Sage Mode. He possessed the Rinnegan, which awakened at the same time as the Mangekyo Sharingan when he believed his brother might die. However, the two of them managed to seal away Kaguya and free the world from the threat of the Ten Tails. Speaking of Kaguya, she is the matriarch of Naruto's family. If Naruto is related to the Uzumaki, and the Uzumaki are related to the Senju, and the Senju are related to Asura, then this means that Naruto is related distantly to Kaguya Otsutsuki. Kaguya wasn't considered very high on the totem pole and was brought to Earth to be the sacrifice for the Ten Tails. But she betrayed Ishiki and took that power for herself. She loved the people of Earth and sought to protect them and live among them, becoming a concubine of Tenji, the emperor of the Land of Ancestors. Due to a mistake she had made while defending herself, however, Tenji sent soldiers to execute her. She escaped and made her way back to the Ten Tails, where she cast the infinite Tsukuyomi to wipe their memories, and then transformed many into Zetsu. However, she did not wish to see the world emptied of humans, so she set them free from her jutsu and allowed them to leave. She later gave birth to her twin sons, who were both born with chakra. However, later in her life, she attempted to retake it from them, which led to a massive battle, which resulted in her being sealed into the moon, only to be unsealed during the Fourth Shinobi World War, and then later resealed. When she was free, Kaguya was known to be two things: a goddess of love and a demon. She loved her children and loved the earth, but had become corrupted by her power and began to believe it all belonged to her. She tolerated Hagoromo and Hamura for a while, but she felt easily betrayed by people's actions and tended not to forgive that breach of trust. This resulted in her nearly killing her own children. Hagoromo states that she was once truly kind and caring, but lost her to corruption to the point that Naruto insinuates that he can't sympathize with her at all. Unlike the others, he had been able to talk no jutsu into the light. He felt she lacked a heart in entirety. This would insinuate that Kaguya is also partly a fake person, being that she displays emotions such as love and kindness when she first meets Naruto and Sasuke, feeling sad that she must kill them. This would be a false emotion for looks with no depth to it. In other words, Kaguya is shallow and self-centered, likely due to eating the chakra fruit. This ultimately led to her downfall. However, she did bring good into the world. It was nearly shattered by her influence multiple times, but it was also partially saved by it. Unironically, she defeated herself by giving birth to those who would defeat her. And here we come to a close. Naruto, despite not having parents when he was growing up, did not lack a family. He was surrounded with people who either were family by blood or became family through bond. In this way, while Naruto lived by himself, he was never alone. It was sad that he had no one to watch over him and show him affection growing up, but he did have those who were guardians to him. And because of this, he grew up to be the kind person he is now, and now the world loves him. It's truly an inspiring story, and this family tree reveals just how much we never realized Naruto had family. This would be the perfect time to rewatch the series just to recall all of the people we never realized were his family. So tell us, what do you think? Did you enjoy this video? Who is your favorite member of Naruto's family? Was there anyone you believe should have been added, and if so, who? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Be sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the bell to be notified when a new video drops. Peace.